Hello everybody, I'm Michelle. Welcome to another video. Today we're going to make the, from the bargain bead box, I made the elegant rose ring with a peyote band. And the materials list is 3 colors of 11O seed beads, 1 8mm bead. I'm using the agate from the bargain bead box, and then I've got some 8mm. These happen to be metal seed beads. You could use whatever. If you want to use glass seed beads, that's fine, but they are 8mm or 8O seed beads, 3mm. Alright, I've got size 8 Fireline, and I've left about a 6 to 8 inch tail to sew in. I'm using a size 10 beading needle. And I've probably got, to start off with, a wingspan. Alright, so get your materials together, come back, and we'll get started. Alright, so we're going to pick up the 8mm round gemstone, happens to be, you don't have to use a gemstone. And we're going to pick up 1 8O seed bead, and we're going to pick up 4 11Os, and this is going to be the color this is going to be this petal right here. It's going to be the center petal. There's a smaller one and 2 bigger petals to start off with, so just to let you know so you can decide which color. Then we're going to pick up, oh wait a minute, we've got 1 8O, 4 seed beads, 1 8O, oops, 4 seed beads, my needle's kind of bent down, alright, we'll bring this down. And we'll go up through the center. And then what we're going to do is we're going to come back through all the beads we just put on. Alright, and then we're going to pull that down as tight as we can. And then we're going to pick up an 8O. Sometimes these metal ones are tricky to get through. 4 seed beads. And then an 8O. And 4 seed beads. And holding the tail out of the way, we're going to come back down through that bead. And then we'll come up and go through all the beads. All of them, and that'll pull them tighter, they'll, tight to that center bead. We want to connect them all, so we want to make sure and go through all of the beads at least once this time around, because we're connecting the beads. See how they're separating? We want them to be together. There we go. And let's see, what side do we want our tail thread on? It doesn't matter. Let's leave it on the back. Okay. Make sure our center bead is sticking out though. Alright, and then we will go ahead and pick up 7. Of that same color. Make sure coming out of one of the 8/0s, okay? We'll be working in and out of those. And we'll just go through that next 8/0. Okay, pick up 7. And go through that next 8/0 CP. Seven more. And go through that next 8/0 seed bead. Seven more 11/0s. And go through that very first 8/0 that we came out of. Alright, and don't step up, stay in that 8/0. Okay. Okay. Now turn your piece over. So we should have made we want the bottom layer and the center layer are bright color. Well, I do. So I'm going to flip it over. And do the same thing. Pick up 7. And we're coming out of this 8/0. I'm going to jump right over into the next. Make sure to keep those petals on top here. Remember, we're working on the bottom, okay? Pick up 7. And we're coming out of this 8/0. We're just going to jump over into that next 8/0. Make sure our petal stays on top of that other. Pick up 7 more. And jump into the next 8/0. Seven more. jump into that next 8-0. But we want to come out on the other side. So we'll go through the back and cut and try to maneuver our way. And if you can't get it like this, we can always bring it to the front. I didn't get it all the way to the front. So I will just do it now. I'll just go underneath. Let's see, I'll go under like that and flip it back over. Now pick up 5 of your second color, five seed beads, and jump into the next 8-0, same 8-0. It's a little harder because we got beads in the way, but the 8-0, the holes of the 8-0s are plenty big enough. Let's go in here. There we are. Pick up 5. Go to the next 8-0. Oops. Alright, do that 2 more times and come back and we'll do the next step. Okay. Now, we're coming out of the 8-0. We want to jump up into that bottom row of 11-0s, the bottom petal row. And we're going to come through 4 beads. We'll be working out of that 4th bead in these petals, in each of these petals, as we add more, okay? We've got 3 on each side, so it's the center bead. And so we want to pick up 9 of our 3rd color. Nine 11-0s. Coming out of that 4th bead, we want to jump into the next 4th bead of the next petal and pull. Pick up 9 more. Just continue to do this all the way around. 3, 4. These little Preciosa, Czech Preciosa seed beads have very small holes, so sometimes it's hard to pick them up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And then we'll jump into the next 4th bead of the bottom, very bottom petal. 1, 2. Sometimes you'll have to use your needle to kind of lift it up to get between them. Pull. Okay, do that 2 more times. Come back and we'll do the next step. Okay, we're at the last one. And so I just wanted to make sure you got the right one. We're jumping into that same bead that we first started in, but on the opposite side. And then we're just going to step up and go through all those 9 beads in that first petal we come to. Look how curly my thread is, and it makes it hard to, I think it gets twisted, so I'm just going to pick it up and hold it and let it spin and get untwisted like that. Alright, and then sometimes that helps. Your thread gets all twisty and it wants to tangle. Alright, so we're through those 9. We're going to pick up one of our 8-ohs, and we're going to go through that next 9 seed beads, the petals we just put on. Pick up another, I'm going to move these. Pick up another 8-oh. Go through the next 9. Pick up another and go through the next 9. Okay, do the next one, come back after you get that finished, and we'll do the next step. Okay, now we've got on we put the last 9 in, came through the 8-oh, alright, and then we're going to go through, let's say, we're going to pick up 5 of the second color, which is the blue for me. And we're going to find the 5th bead. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We're going to find the 5th bead in this row. And pull. We're going to pick up 5. And we're going to go through that 8-oh. Okay, pick up 5 more of the color 2. And we're going to find the 5th bead. It's already kind of sticking up there for me. There we go. I'm going to pick up 5 more. And we're going to go through that 8-oh. Alright, do that 2 more times. Well, actually it's 4. It's 1, 2, 3, 4. Come back and we'll do the next step. Alright, we've come out of the last dado after adding our 5 color 2 beads, and we're going to work our way through these 5 beads. And in this ring, I used 11 O's here at this point. I'm not sure if I want to use 11 O's or these 8 O's. So I think I'm going to try the 8 O's, but if you think you'd like the 11 O's better, you could do that as well. Let me try, and we're just going to fill in this gap. See that gap between the 2 sets of 5 blue beads? And then through that 8 O and through the next 5. And then I'm going to pick up another 8 O and join those 2 sets of 5. Just make sure it goes down in between. And then go through the next 8 O and set of 5 seed beads. Alright, so finish going around. I think you might only have one more to fill in. And then come back and we'll do the next step. Alright, now that you've gotten all of your beads put on, we need to go back through this last row one more time just to kind of tighten it in. Alright, so we'll just go through all the beads, the 5 seed beads along the edge, and then the 8 O, the 5 seed beads, the 8 O, the 5 seed beads, the 8 O. Go all through that again, come back, and then we'll do the band. Okay, so we went back around and reinforced, and that helped a lot. That draws that last row kind of in closer so it's not sticking up. And there's our rows. And if you want to make it cup a little, you can. But we're coming out. We're going to flip it on the back. We're coming out of an 8 O. I'm just going to take my tail thread and stick it, get it out of the way for now. So I'm just going to kind of stick it up through that hole. But we can't forget we got that stop bead there. Alright, so we're coming out of that 8 O, and that 8 O is attached to that 11 O, so we're just going to jump down and coming out here, we're going to jump down into that row of 11 O's that's attached to that 8 O, like that. And then we're going to the stupid stop bead. And we're just going to jump down into this row of 11 O's. You know, where it's, see, we attached to, well, we'll go this way. We attached right here. So we'll go down through this row of 11 O's. We came down this way, and now we're going to go down that way. we're working our way down to this, one of these 8/0 beads right here, the very first row we put on, right? And we're going to be working out of this 8/0, these 4 11/0s, and this 8/0. Alright, so we need to go through, we need to be coming up and out of one of those 8/0s, not in towards the 11/0s, but out, facing outward. Like this. And now this is the push your bead up to the top. This is the hardest part, is attaching this peyote band to this ring of beads right here. But it's not too, it's not going to be too bad, but you might have a problem with the room. Alright, so figure out what color your band's going to be. I believe my band will be silver, and my outline will be copper. So I'm going to pick up the copper bead, and I'm going to skip this first bead here and go down through the second bead. See that? I'm skipping that 8/0 and I'm going down through that 11/0, and that should lay that 11/0 right beside that 8/0. And then I'm going to pick up my main color of my band. I'm coming out of that 11/0. I'm going to skip the next 11/0 and go through the one right after. Okay, and then I'm going to pick up my 11/0, my main color, and I'm going to skip that next 11/0, and I'm going to go down through that 8/0. Alright, we'll pull those in the line here in a minute. Alright, so we're coming out of that 8/0. Get there, and we'll come out. Alright, now every time we turn, we want to use one of our edging beads. Like I've got the gold on the edge here. Every time we turn, we want to pick up one of those and then go directly down into that first sticking up bead. Pull. They want to pick up a body collar and go down through that next sticking up bead. And then we want to pick up another body collar and go up through that last sticking up bead. Alright, now this row's, see how the beads really aren't sticking up that much? You're just going to have to know that you skip a bead. So we're turning around, we're picking up our edge bead, and we're going right back down through that last bead we just added. It's up a little bit, and you're going to have to hold it in place so it don't move, and pull. Okay, then we're going to pick up a body color. Coming out of there, we're going to skip one and go through the next bead that's sticking up a little bit. Just a little bit. And pull. Now you'll be able to see them. They're really on track now. They're sticking up more. And we go skip one, pick up a body color, skip one, and go up through that edge bead, that last edge bead, and pull. Now we've got a pretty good peyote pattern going. Now, like I said, every time we turn, we pick up our edge, and we go right down through the bead we just added. Oops. And we pick up a body color, and we go down through that next up bead. Pick up a body color, go down through that last up bead, the edge bead, and pull. Then now we got to turn, so we're picking up our edge bead, and we're going to go right down through that bead we just added, that first sticking out bead. Pull, pick up a body color, go through that next sticking up bead, pick up a body color, go through that last up bead, that edge bead, and we're just going to do it again. Pick up your edge color, because we're turning. We're going to go down through that first sticking out bead, pick up a body color, pick up another body color, and go through that last sticking up bead, which is the edge bead. And then we're going to turn, and we're going to pick up the edge bead, because we're turning to go the opposite way. We won't go down through that. Just continue to do that same pattern. Just remember, every time you make a turn, you're adding that edge bead. Alright, make your band. You probably have to, measure it around your finger, or, if you're making it for somebody else, you have to get the measurement or whatever. But make it to length, come back and we'll attach it. Okay, we've got our band to the length we want it. And I pulled my stop bead out of the way here. If you wanted to, since this is coming out of this bead here and it might interfere with you sewing it in, you could go ahead and sew it in before you do this, or you can wait. I'm going to wait, and I'm going to kind of push that bead down, the center bead, and pop these beads up as much as I can that I'm going to be working out of here. Alright, so I'm coming out of that copper bead, and it's in. See how this is in and this is out, and this one's kind of down too? That's what we need. And the two in the center sticking up. So we're going to go through that 8/0 seed bead from the top down, and the next bead, if you can get them both at the same time. If not, you can, wait a minute. I think it flipped on me. No, we don't go the next bead down. We jump into the other side, the band side, down into that bead. And then we jump over here into the next bead. Over, you can see when you pull it tight, I don't know if you can see on mine, it would be the third bead down, counting the 8-0. Just one. Right there. Third bead down. Then we'll jump in to that middle sticking out bead on the band. Then we'll go into the fifth bead. I think it is. Yep, the fifth bead. The one right next to the 8-0 on the ring side. There we go. And then we'll jump into the last bead there, the copper bead. And then we'll go back down into the 8-0. And the next bead. Now, since it's already attached, we'll just, it don't have to be perfect. And then we'll go into the sticking out bead on the band. Then we'll jump over into that, what it looks like the second bead. And then we'll go up into this first sticking up bead on the band side. And then we'll go up into that 8-0. Okay, and then we'll go down into that copper bead. And you really can't tell, so we'll just kind of can't tell from where we started really, so we'll just come down diagonally. I came down all three of those beads. Right now we're just reinforcing. And then we'll come down these last two beads here on the rose side. If I can get just those two. Well, I keep wanting to get that one, so I'll just go back through that. There we go. Now, I'll go down. I'm in the 8-0. I'll just go down into that copper bead. And now we'll just sew off, which is just going on the diagonal and then reversing directions a few times. And then we'll go back up and down. Alright, and then whenever I feel like that's secure enough, so whenever you feel like it's secure, cut your thread and then do the same thing over here, except you'll have to, you're coming out of that bead, you'll have to work your way around and into the band. Probably go through those 4 gray beads, and then the 8/0, and up into the band with your thread, and then, you know, go back and forth, reversing directions, and cut your threads off, and come back and we'll look at our ring. Okay, I just wanted to show you real quick how to sew this tail thread, how to get to where you can sew this tail thread in. Alright, so we're coming out of this 8/0, or we're coming out of this 8mm gemstone there. Just go right through those 4 11/0s. If we can get through, just get through as many as you can get through at first. I got through 3, and then, oh no, I went through that thread. Alright, and then get through the last couple, and hopefully the 8/0 at the same time. There's so many beads in the way. Let's see. Yeah, I did. I got through the 8/0. Alright, and then since I'm going down that way through the 8/0, I'll jump over into this. See that? The first bead past the copper bead. And then I'll go on a diagonal down through that row, and I'll go here and then into that copper. Well, I'll get that 11/0 there, go down into that copper bead there. It really doesn't matter, we're just tying off. So we'll come down through this row. We're just sewing our thread in so it's secure. And we'll go down through reverse directions and go down through this row. And we'll reverse directions and come down through this row. And we'll go back up through the previous row. I only got 3, that's fine. Go back down. You just can't, you've got to go, you know, directly into the bead beside, so your thread will get pulled down in between the beads. You can't skip any beads. But besides that, it's very simple. I try not to go on the end because I don't want to see a bunch of black thread on the end. I try to only work in the middle beads. Here. And then come back down through here. And I think that's good. Alright, so we'll cut. Wait a minute. Make sure we get close. These, I got my old thread nippers or wire cutters or whatever, and they are so dull. They don't have a spring in anymore. I wore them out also, but there we go. Okay, there's our rings. You can either like flip this down and then just, you know, make them look pretty and frilly. There's the bands. Alright, so there's our elegant rose ring, and I thank you for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.